And then we looked at what happened at the Amex. Brighton, who've been going so well with World Cup winner Alexis McAllister, up against Everton. And Everton win it, but didn't just win it. 5-1. I mean, where on earth... Everton fans who travelled yesterday must have been leaving there thinking, if only. I mean, where did it come from? Is this a Sean Dyche factor? Yeah. Maybe it is. In fact, this was Dyche post-match.
I mean, I don't stare at it, all the time. The one at the end of the season is the most important. I say it all the time because it is, factually. I'll try and keep my focus on that. I try and keep my focus on the performance levels. I try to keep my focus on the details in the performance levels. And, I came away very frustrated at Leicester. I thought it was a very, very good performance. And as I just mentioned, the pleasing thing for me was taking it on again here against a very, very strong side, but also a very, very confident side. So to do that was incredibly pleasing.
I mean, Simon, the game, as we know, can throw up shocks, but that defied belief, that defied logic. No one could have seen that coming. It was the first time Everton have scored 3 first-half goals in a Premier League game since 2018. No wonder we didn't see it coming.
Well, it's a moment in time. It's come off you look at these games that these 3 sides that have got that are really contesting the bottom 3 spots, which are Leeds, Nottingham Forest and Everton. Really, they're probably the guys that are the ones that are the most challenged. And you look at it and think there's got to be a result that comes out of nowhere. There has to be a result, a freak result. And that on paper looks like it. But then you roll the dice back and you go, who's the 2 teams that have beaten Brighton in the last week and really needed to beat Brighton? The 2 teams that are fighting for relegation battles, Nottingham Forest and Everton. And so you ask yourself how that manifests itself because, necessity is the mother of invention, isn't it? And they needed to win those games. And so the Dyche effect was ultimately there because I did think he was right. They were unlucky against Leicester. They were fragile defensively, but they were unlucky against Leicester. They came full of beans. They went at Leicester from the first minute of the game and gave away silly goals in terms of putting themselves behind and nearly lost a penalty again to Maddison, who missed the penalty, and they could have been out of sight by then. But that result, the Corey's performance, Dwight McNeil's performance, the energy and vitality of that performance has put Everton now in a rather better position than anyone anticipated they would be in, because if you look at the run-ins and start to say, forget Man City, right? Forget the Man City game, right? You look at Wolves and you look at Bournemouth and you think to yourself, neither one of these teams have anything to play for besides professionalism. Right. We can question that sometimes at the business back end of a season. So you start to move the dial saying they've just thrown themselves the biggest lifeline that anyone could have possibly contemplated and put all the onus. I mean, obviously Forest did their job last night, but Leicester now Southampton are gone. Leeds' running looks like, irrespective of the Sam factor, they've got real troubles.
Could be Leeds, could be Leicester. I mean, they look at what went on at the Amex and they're like, now we're in trouble.
Well, you look at it and say it's difficult to see past them. Now, we've just seen a set of results. The Forest result, they had to win that game. I was with a group of Forest fans on the weekend, a good mates of mine. One of them I took to the Spurs game because he's a Forest fan when Spurs played Forest. And he said to me, we're very nervous about the game. But Forest have been better in recent weeks. They've been better both at home and away. They've been more determined. They've been quite unlucky. They were very unlucky against Brentford. Yeah. They were stronger in that side away from home than they've been all season, yet they still managed to come out with a defeat. Yeah. So now they've put themselves in a great position, and the pressure on Leicester and Leeds has just ramped up several notches.
Well, Gabriel, the Manchester United fan, is saying this morning, fair play to you, Simon. Do you remember? Just last week you said it wasn't all doom and gloom about Everton, and last night proved that. What he does do, Sean Dyche, he gets a tune out of players, particularly a tune out of players that he knows. Yeah. He knows. You mentioned Dwight McNeil, and he was absolutely awesome for Everton yesterday. He spoke after, he was asked how pleased was he that the destiny of Everton is now very much in their own hands.
Yeah, the main thing is for us was winning and getting out the bottom 3, and we did it, and I thought we deserved the 3 points, especially how we played in the first half. But now we've got to look back on it, what we did well in the game and what we didn't do so well in the game, and get ready for the big game on Sunday.
Watching your last 2 away games, it's pretty clear that you're all in this together, you're fighting, you're scrapping for every ball. How much can that make a difference between now and the end of the season, that character?
Yeah, massive. We know our away form hasn't been too good this season, and we're wanting to prove it, but getting 4 points in the last 2 away games is a good starting point, and now we've got to build on it for the remaining 3 games of the season.
Obviously, it doesn't get any easier from here with Manchester City at the weekend, but you've scored 5 goals away from home against a good Brighton side. So does that give you confidence that maybe you can get something against the champions, defy the odds?
Yeah, massive. We're at home as well. We know it's going to be the biggest test for us, but we've got to focus on ourselves and how can we affect and play our part in the game as well and take the game on.
What about your goalkeeper as well? Because when Brighton did come on strong in the second half, he made some really big saves. How much assurance does it give you knowing you've got a player of that calibre guarding your net?
Yeah, massive. We knew when we come up for the second half there would be a reaction, and there was, and Jordan was there to make some great saves for us as well. It's good to have him and the back 4 behind us as well, because everyone's solid. I thought we defended really well today.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked like he was somewhere near back to his best today. Obviously he's had a wretched couple of years with injury. Could he almost be like a new signing in these last few games of the season?
Yeah, Dom's massive for us, and he was a big miss for us when he was out injured, but now he's back fit, and I think he's getting better game by game, and his all-round play is amazing. He can hold up, he can run in behind, and today the weighted pass for the first goal to Dukes was outstanding. Made the finish easy for Dukes, putting it in first time, but credits to Dukes well so early in the game, keeping his composure and putting us 1-0 up.
Dwight McNeil speaking there with Alex Crook. Simon, I reckon one question Everton fans will be asking this morning, if it goes in their favour and they survive, what plans can Everton put in place to stop the same story evolving again next season, and the story being 2 potential late escapes on the trot for the football club? They escaped it by the skin of their teeth last season, under Lampard, and now under Dyche it could well be the same again. But Everton fans will be saying, we've had enough of this.
But they've laid their plans. They brought in a manager that's capable of delivering a better outcome. They've laid their plans. They brought in Dyche. If he keeps them up, then the energy will soar back into the football club for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. The wrong reasons is that they narrowly avoided relegation. The right reasons that they avoided relegation, and Dyche will kick them up a gear. Now, of course, if the financial landscape has changed slightly for them, and they're no longer under what I would describe as special measures, which is the Premier League watching like hawks every single transaction they do. They can only sell to get in. And if they've gone past that stage, because they've now had 2 or 3 years of this situation, then they put themselves in a different situation. And the third thing is get Mashiri as far away from the football side of things as possible.
He's not going to do that, though. I mean, if you were told that at Palace, you'd be like, really do one, it's my money.
But if I'd spent 750 million, 500 million on players to achieve a side that's in absolute freefall, financial meltdown, sitting at the bottom of the table 2 seasons in a row with a football club the size of Everton, with its neighbours across the road constantly doing better and sneering at them, I think I'd say to myself, maybe it's better for me to take a back seat and put some people in place that are capable. Maybe I'd look at changing up the board, with no disrespect to Denise and Bill, and look at the calibre of people that I've got there and where they are in the great scheme of things, and try and get this club back on the right track.
Yeah.
Because at this moment in time, everybody's rearranging the decks on the Titanic at Everton. That's what they're doing. But you go to the next raft of games with Leicester, Leeds, Forest and Everton, it looks like it'll be more of the same. These results on Monday are so important, because the next bank of fixtures, Leicester have got Liverpool, Leeds have got Newcastle, Forest have got Chelsea, and Everton have got Man City. So you can see that being all 4 of them losing, and nobody in a better position than they were on Monday, which is a great place to be, given the games that Everton have got coming after that, and a couple of other teams have got coming after that. But this next raft of fixtures for all 4 sides, you can't see any of them winning. But again, another freak result. We don't know what Chelsea will turn up, because Forest could quite easily go and get a point or win at Chelsea, because Chelsea are rubbish.
Well, 2 potential late escapes on the trot for Everton. I'm going to put it out there to Evertonians listening this morning, and there are many of you. What plans can this club put in place? What plans do you want this club to put in place to stop the same story evolving again next season? Simon's answer: keep Mashiri away from football matters as far as you possibly can. 03717 223344 810 89.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.